Well, good morning, Grumlaw. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Dee Crownover, and I'm the weekend director around here, and we are so excited that you chose to spend this Labor Day weekend with us. It's beautiful, but we know fall is in the air, and some of you are trying to hold on to those last bits of summer, but we have some really exciting things going on around here this fall. Coming up in just 2 weeks, we have our Connect group signups. If you've never been a part of a Connect group, you will not want to miss out on this. It's a chance for you to get out of rows on Sunday mornings and get into circles in people's living rooms, connect, have authentic relationships, and grow closer to Jesus together. So those signups are going down September 17th. Mark your calendars, you won't want to miss it. More details at grumlaw.com/discover. Hey, and just 2 weeks away is our Grumlaw date night. Guys, ladies, grab your date, get the sitter, come on out for a night of fun, laughter, and just community. We'd love to see you on our Grumlaw date night going down on the 15th of September. Go to grumlaw.com/discover to snag those tickets, and we can't wait to see you. Hey, thanks so much for joining us this Sunday. It's going to be a good one.
Husbands in particular, I'm going to talk to you. Sign up for date night like right now. Grumlaw.com/discover. Sign up for date night. It's going to be a really, really fun night. And I'm not just saying that because I work for the church. I actually had the privilege of seeing Andrew Stanley, the comedian, live last year. And he's really, really, really funny. So when you think about it, $50 a couple, $25 each. That's like a pretty incredible deal to go see a live comedian. So again, right now, go to that grumlaw.com/discover, sign up for date night. It's going to be a really, really fun night. We definitely hope to see all of you there. My name is Shay Prisk. I have the privilege of serving as the lead pastor around here. We don't take it for granted that you would carve out some time here, especially on this Labor Day weekend, and spend it here with us. But we would love to connect with you. If you're new around here, or for whatever reason, maybe you just never filled one of these things out before, go ahead and go right now to grumlaw.com/new and fill out that Connect card. This will keep you connected with all things going on here at Grumlaw, and there's a lot happening here this fall. But it also allows us to connect with our community, because for every new Connect card that we receive, we donate $5 to a local school. So again, go to grumlaw.com/new right now and fill out that Connect card. Well, it's no secret around here that the reason that we do everything around here is for stories of life change. We know that Jesus is real. He is the Savior of the world who came and would have died for you if it was just you. And that's not just lip service, something that we get to cross our fingers and hope for. Just about every single week, we get to watch a real first-hand account of somebody right here in this faith community and hear about how Jesus has transformed their life. Somebody just like Desiree.
I grew up in church, and I always knew that God was real, and I always really just felt his love. Then I became more distant because I became more distracted by like school and sports and stuff like that. And then this summer I went to church camp, and I just really felt like I connected to God again, and I ended up thinking about it for the rest of the summer. And then I ended up, by the end of the summer, quitting softball, and I felt really lost. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, and it was very overwhelming. And I kind of felt like I didn't have a lot of worth anymore. And then I started going to church again, and I started to read my Bible, and I started to pray more. And things got easier, and I realized things got a lot better than they were before. So it got rough, but then it got better. So everything, I feel much more relaxed, and I trust in him more. So it feels like a lot less weight on my shoulders. My Mimi and Papa are both my spiritual influencers. I lived with them for a lot of my childhood. I was really inspired by what they had with God, their relationship. My pop has a really good relationship with God, and he always talked about God, or he was reading his Bible, and whenever I felt discomfort or I was like stressing out, even as a kid, my Mimi comforted me by talking about God or praying with me or things like that, and it always worked. Jesus is good friend. He is faithful and forgiving and really good. Jesus changed my life by showing me how to be a better person and showing me how to show up for myself and other people, and showing me what it feels like to be loved and cared for unconditionally. You know, I distanced myself for a long time from him, so I feel like coming to church and then also like reading my Bible, I feel like there's a lot for me to learn, and so I feel like I've been getting a lot of lessons. But it's easier to do when you have a relationship with God, because I know that he's got it handled no matter what. I am a child of God, and I love that. It makes me feel important and loved. My name is Desiree Bates, and I'm getting baptized today because I love Jesus.
Desiree, so good. We so admire your faith, and all of you who are watching right now, parents, grandparents in particular, never underestimate the role you might be playing in the spiritual lives of the people around you. If you're not dead, God is not done with you. He still wants you to use you to impact more people for his kingdom. In that vein, our next baptism service is coming up here on October the 22nd. It'll be here before we know it. If you've never been a part of our baptism stories in the past, like these are big old celebrations where we see a whole bunch of people going public with their faith. And if you're sitting and you're watching right now and you've never gone public with your faith, we always ask this question: what are you waiting for? Sign up to get baptized here today. It's as simple as texting Grumlaw to 94,000 and then following those prompts for baptism. You have no idea, just like Desiree's story, how God might use your story to help even more stories be told. And church, your generosity is what fuels all of this. It's no secret that we wouldn't exist without the generosity of so many of you who are watching right now. If you're a guest, please don't feel obligated to give whatsoever, but if this is the place that you call your church home, this is one of the most practical ways that we get to partner with God in what he is up to in the world. And there's a couple different ways that you can give. You can go to grumlaw.com/give. You can text Grumlaw to 94,000 and then follow those prompts for giving. But by far the best and the easiest way to give is to set up recurring giving at grumlaw.com/give. Again, thank you to so many of you who are watching, who again allow us to exist and again help us to tell stories just like Desiree's. And this morning, we are actually going to begin with worship, where we have an opportunity to thank and praise God through song. And we just want to invite you, wherever you're watching from right now. We know it might feel a little bit awkward if you're sitting on the couch or you're in a cottage maybe with a bunch of other people. Maybe you're even like in a camper, an RV. But again, I would just challenge you to actually move those lips, sing, thank God for what he has done, not only in your life, but in the lives of so many people around you.
Suddenly articulate with 1,000 tongues to lift one cry. From north to south and east to west, we'll hear Christ be magnified. His name
Well, again, I will say it. Good morning and welcome to Grumlaw Church. We are so glad all of you decided to join us here on this beautiful Labor Day weekend. It's like summer is back with a vengeance, and we are glad that you carved out a little bit of time and decided to spend it here with us. And if you are new around here, we're thankful, honestly, again, that you had the courage, that you made that decision to make this a part of your week. We recognize you could be doing a lot of different things here this morning, and we're thankful you decided to tune in here today. And right here, kind of on the front end, I want to give those of you who are new around here a bit of a heads up. You're going to be listening in on a conversation this morning that is admittedly pretty insider focused. Normally on Sunday mornings, we cater these entire mornings and certainly these messages, what I'm doing right now, to those who are new to this whole church experience. But today, given that this is a holiday weekend, and if I'm just being honest, we usually have less guests, new people than normal. It's sort of your tried and true who show up, who tune in. I've kind of catered this message accordingly. So while I will wholeheartedly encourage you, if you are new, to adopt what it is that I'm going to be teaching this morning, admittedly, if you're still on the fence about this whole Jesus fella, you get to sort of pick and choose your way through this stuff. And if the question crosses your mind at any point during this message today, like, is that guy, that Shay dude always this direct? The answer from those who would call this place their church home would probably be, well, yeah. He does have a way of speaking in a straightforward manner, but it's not usually this much packed into a single message. So my encouragement, if you are new, and we actually say this just about every single week, is to come back for at least 3 straight weeks. And the reason that we issue that challenge, that invitation, is because every single week is unique, every week is different, and it's just going to take at least a couple of weeks for you to really get a feel of who we are, of what we're all about. And I say it just about every week. I'm kind of bullish on the point that if you come back for 3 straight weeks, God will begin to show up in your life in such a way that you're going to want to keep coming back. You're going to want to keep leaning in. So again, take that challenge. We hope to see you here over the next couple of weeks here as well. Fall is obviously right around the corner, and lots of fun stuff happening around here. Now, the title of today's message, as you've likely already gathered, is Owner. Around here, we often use the language, make the move from attender to owner, where we encourage those of you who have been showing up here for a little bit to get off of the sidelines. You know, where you kind of get here 2 minutes before the service starts, you sit through the service, and then you're right back out the door as soon as we dismiss. Rather than merely attending Grumlaw Church, you begin instead to play a role in what God is doing around here. Now, to be very, very clear, everyone starts right here. Everyone starts as an attender. You take in, you consume. In fact, the hallmark question of the attender is what's in it for me? Now, you maybe have not put this in such direct terms, but all of us initially showed up to a place like this asking the question, hey, how is this place going to make my life better? And probably, if you kept coming back, at least initially, at some level, you felt like this place was improving your life, and so you decided to keep coming back. This is where virtually everyone begins, and again, there's nothing wrong with this. But what we aren't shy about saying to people amongst this church is, hey, don't stay there for too long. That is, don't stay parked in the attender seat for very long. Even if you still find yourself, for instance, wrestling with some of the basics of the Christian faith, I mean, you're not even sure if Jesus really is the Son of God. Make that move to owner quicker than what probably feels comfortable to you. In fact, one of our primary drivers around here is our value, belong before you believe. See, it's okay if you don't have it all figured out yet. I'll actually let you in on a little secret this morning. You're never going to have it completely figured out. It's called faith for a reason. At a certain point, you've gathered enough information. God has shown up and shown off in your life in such a way that you're like, I'm pretty sure he's out there, and you decide to take that leap. You decide to exercise your faith, and specifically your faith in Jesus. Jump on board. Begin to play a role in what God is already doing and help us fulfill our mission to lead other people towards Jesus. And here's why we all but beg you to make that move as soon as possible. And this just honestly comes from firsthand observation, from firsthand experience. Longtime attenders eventually become dissatisfied customers. See, when you merely attend, again, the hallmark question, as we just covered, is what's in it for me? It's a fine question to ask initially, but not eventually. See, when it's all about you, you are the center of your own universe, just stating the obvious, which for 99% of the population is a completely acceptable way to live. It's what drives virtually all of our behavior. It's what drives, honestly, a lot of our lives. But there's a little problem when you carry that into the church and refuse to move on from that what's in it for me mentality. See, at the heart of the local church, by the way, God's instrument, his plan, his vessel to take the message of his son to the ends of the earth, at the heart of the local church, it's not you, it's Jesus. Get off of his throne in heaven, take on all of the limitations of the human experience, then eventually be crucified and take off the weight of our sin, of our rebellion, then triumphantly rise from the grave, thus conquering sin and death so that we might have new life, Jesus. That is who this is all about. Not you, not me, not anyone else watching. So if you stay parked in the attender spot for a long time, you continue to ask yourself, what's in it for me? You're kind of playing a sick game with yourself, wholly convincing yourself that this is all about you rather than all about Jesus. And as such, again, you quickly become a dissatisfied customer. Let me, for instance, give ourselves some real life ways that we see this express itself so you can kind of like get your head around what I'm talking about. Dissatisfied customers, for instance, they complain that the music is too loud. It isn't finely tuned to your exact like audio specifications, and in your mind, it's not really worship. It's music meant to entertain you, so it's too loud. Like let's bring that thing down. Dissatisfied customers, they gripe that the music went on for too long. It's like, right, we came here to listen to that guy speak, not watch a concert. It's like, okay, 3 songs feels like way too many. 2 is probably still too many. 1, if we're honest, we kind of wish there actually wasn't any music at all. But we could put up with 1. It's like it's just going too long. Dissatisfied customers, they casually mention that they didn't feel seen. Nobody comes up and talks to us, never mind the fact that we give almost no space for that to actually happen. We don't like the fact that we're anonymous around here. Dissatisfied customers tell others that the pastor talks about money too much. By the way, I know a lot of other pastors, and I've never talked to a single pastor ever who has not had this accusation thrown their way at some point in their ministry. In a lot of people's mind, one time talking about money once is just way too many times. Dissatisfied customers always have ways that the first impressions experience could have been better. That the coffee was just kind of blah. The music in the lobby, it wasn't Christian enough. The check-in for my kids took way too long. The bathroom was out of mints. Their toilet paper was like really thin. I prefer a thicker brand of toilet paper. These are all real things that we have actually heard before. Dissatisfied customers complain that everyone just seems so fake. People that, mind you, you've already kind of admitted that you don't even know, but you can just tell. I mean, you've got an eye for this sort of thing. These people, these church people, they're just so fake. By the way, it was not very difficult to put together that list. But do you see the theme? More than anything else, longtime attenders who, again, eventually turn into dissatisfied customers, they complain. They gripe. They do this magic trick where they turn our Connect cards, an instrument that we try to use to connect people who are new around here into this faith community. They transform them into comment or complaint cards. They complain. And honestly, and I'm being serious right now with what I'm about to say, I don't blame them. Because you have sold yourself a bill of goods that we're never going to be able to deliver on. You've convinced yourself that this is all about you. Not much different than, for instance, going to the movies. And if this was all about you, then of course we as a church, as a service on Sunday mornings, we're under-delivering. So we encourage those of you who have been showing up for really any amount of time is to make the move from attender to owner. And owners, rather than being consumed with the question, what's in it for me? No. Owners instead ask, how can I play a role in what God is doing amongst this faith community? It's no longer all about you, it's all about Jesus. And as such, you leverage your time, your talents, the gifts that God has given you, your treasure, your resources, your money, certainly, your possessions. You leverage it for his kingdom, regularly actually asking yourself, hey, not what's in it for me, but how can I serve the me beside me? Because remember, it would actually be Jesus himself who would teach when he was asked, hey, what is the most important commandment? He replied, hey, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment, and that would have surprised absolutely no one. That's like the textbook Sunday school answer. But then he goes on to say, hey, a second is equally important. And now he had the crowd's attention. Everybody's leaning in. They're going like, wait. There's a command that is equally important to loving God. And he's like, exactly. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. In fact, again, if you're new to this whole Christianity thing, don't miss this. That this might be the gospel most succinctly packed into one sentence. Your love for God is illustrated, demonstrated, and authenticated by how well you love and serve the people around you. And like it or not, God himself has chosen the local church as the avenue, as the tool, as the instrument to spread the name of his son, Jesus, to the ends of the earth. Or as we often say around here, the local church is plan A, and there is no plan B. So as followers of Jesus, we choose to jump on board with what Jesus has already set in motion. We choose to submit to his plan. And I happen to think that Jesus knew what he was talking about. I mean, after all, here we are some 2,000 years post the resurrection of Jesus, and we're still talking about him. A lot of you have probably never thought about it in these terms, but Jesus would only spend about 3 years building his brand. He would only spend about 3 years doing his earthly ministry, and then he would end up leaving his message in the hands of his misfit toys, a bunch of undereducated, underqualified individuals, and he would charge them with these words right before he would leave the earth. Jesus came and he told his disciples, I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey, not some, all the commands I have given you. And be sure of this, and it's this boat of reassurance. He's like, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Not these words that were just meant to be like this little pep talk, but he's like, hey, no, I'm sending the Holy Spirit, God in spirit, who dwells within every follower of Jesus to go with you, before you, after you. And just like that, he was gone. And the local church started doing exactly what Jesus said it would. That despite massive persecution, all the odds stacked against it. I mean, shoot, there wasn't even a formal Bible compiled for hundreds of years post Jesus' resurrection. I mean, Christianity wouldn't just survive, it would thrive. And here we are some 2,000 years later, and the local church is still here, doing exactly what Jesus said it would do. Now, is it perfect? No. In fact, Jesus guaranteed it wouldn't be. After all, he left his message in the hands of very imperfect people like you and I. It's actually just that kind of makes this even more remarkable. In a lot of ways, I have to remind myself of this, it seems like the local church works despite us. So jump on board. Allow yourself, imperfect you, to be used by a perfect God to accomplish his perfect mission here on this earth. Make the move from attender to owner. Ask, how can I play a role in what God is already doing amongst this faith community? How can I leverage my very limited amount of time here on this earth for his kingdom? A mission, a kingdom, oh, by the way, that will outlast all of us. And as you step into that owner role, something beautiful begins to take place. You'll stop being consumed with you, how all of this benefits you. And you'll instead become obsessed with what moves the heart of Jesus, what led him to freely offer himself as the once and for all sacrifice for our collective sin problem. You'll become obsessed with seeing your fellow image bearers restored. Since God himself chose the local church as the avenue to spread the life-changing, eternity-transforming message of Jesus to the ends of the earth, from a heart of gratitude, so overcome by what Jesus has done for you, you'll desperately want to play a role in getting that message to others. See, owners eventually become obedient followers, not dissatisfied customers. As you put your yes on the table, you'll start to see God show up and show off not only in your life, but in the lives of the people around you, the people even here, right amongst this faith community. Your faith will grow. And as your faith grows, your trust in him will grow. And as that trust grows, you'll find yourself taking steps of obedience that you once thought were reserved for like the spiritual Navy SEALs. You'll find yourself leveraging your entire life for his kingdom, for his church. And frankly, why wouldn't you? After all, you've seen him show off in such dramatic ways in the past that there's a holy anticipation for what he's going to do in the future. And listen, come on. If you're here today and you're currently parked in the attender seat, I get it. Everything inside of you is saying you need more answers. I mean, come on, you've only been here for a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years. You need to get to know these people better. Be slow, be cautious. Feel things out for a couple more months. But I would say to you, be careful with that. You'll become that dissatisfied customer quicker than you think. Our ego, our pride, not unique to a single one of us, this is just a human thing. Our all-about-me mentality has a stronger gravitational pull than we usually account for. And remember, honestly, Jesus, he's already given his life for you. So what else might he have waiting for you? He's already proven himself trustworthy, so why not extend a little trust his direction? In fact, in that vein, Jesus would look at each of his disciples, most of them armed with very little information. Remember, the whole die and rise from the grave thing hadn't happened yet. Here was his big recruitment tool for each of his disciples. He'd look at them and say, "Follow me." And they, probably like most of you, had no idea what they were saying yes to. But you know what? A couple of years later, every one of them were sure glad that they accepted that invitation. And all of us, the truth is that we don't really have an excuse, because we now know, with the benefit of hindsight, exactly what Jesus would pull off, what he was leading them to. We don't know exactly what he might do for our lives, what he might do with our lives, but it's not a blind faith. It's a very informed faith. We're choosing to trust the guy who would successfully predict his own death and resurrection. So again, I'll say it. Do what those early disciples decided to do. Do what the early church decided to do. Do what so many people who are watching right now have decided to do. Put your yes on the table. Leverage your time, your talents, your treasure for God's kingdom. Go all in for the local church. Plan A for taking the message of Jesus to the ends of the earth. And again, there is no plan B. Make the move from attender to owner. Now, the rest of this message, I am going to make this all kinds of practical, be all kinds of direct, and go kind of rapid fire through some behaviors and habits that distinguish the owners from everyone else. So get out those notepads, bust out your phone, whatever you need to take notes with. If you're saying you're a follower, not just a believer, an owner, not just an attender, here are your marching orders as we head into what is kind of the greatest season of growth for the local church, at least here in America. I titled this the Owner Manifesto. All right, first one, we ready? Owners are no longer content tipping. They give a percentage of their income back to the local church. Now, you might have noticed that I started with the one that usually has the highest potential to ruffle some feathers. But when it comes to your finances, you're not going to continue flirting with God. See, there's a big difference between tipping and tithing or percentage giving. Tipping is typically emotional. Tipping typically doesn't have much of a plan. You will hear a message, honestly, maybe one much like today, and you're like, oh man, okay, I just got to cleanse my conscience, so you drop $20 in. You give $50, and it kind of just makes you feel a little bit better about you. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Virtually everyone starts at tipping. But tithing or percentage giving, it communicates that you have a plan. That you, if you're married, you sat down with your spouse and you decided, okay, like what's going to make us a little bit uncomfortable? What's going to cause us to rely on God perhaps a little bit more than we did yesterday? Tithing says, I'm going to make a conscious decision to give a percentage of my income back to the local church to contribute, yes, with my finances, to what God is doing here on this earth. Now, listen, Scripture is pretty clear that 10% is not the finish line, it's the starting point. But I'm also human enough to understand that if you've never practiced percentage giving before, you're probably not going to go from 0 to 10% overnight. I get that. And so it's why I challenge this faith community, just start with a percentage. Start with 4, start with 5, start with 6. Pick a percentage, and I'm confident that if you do that, God will begin to get a hold of your heart in such a way that you'll be at 10% before you know it. And my encouragement to all of you would be, stop waiting for that magical moment. It's not going to come. It is a rather line in the sand moment where you just decide, am I going to contribute to God's mission here on this earth? And so, again, my challenge to so many of you today would be to set that up today. Go, and we make this comment all the time, that the best and the easiest way to give is to set up recurring giving at grumlaw.com/give. Begin to give a percentage of your income back to the local church. Next one, owners sign up and show up to their Connect group. Now this is timely, as Connect group signups are going to be happening here in mid-September. Connect groups are where we get out of the rows of Sunday mornings and we get into circles in people's living rooms. Connect groups are where real, meaningful relationships are actually formed. You've probably picked up on the fact that it's kind of hard to get to know people in like the 5 minutes before and after service. Connect groups are where those relationships happen. But as an owner, you don't just sign up, you actually, you show up. You're not the person, and this happens in every single group, you're not the person that the leader thinks about leading up to that night where their group is going to meet, or that morning, and they're wondering, is fill in the blank going to show up today? They're like super hit or miss. No. You don't just sign up, you show up week after week after week. And not only that, you participate, and in fact, you lead with a level of vulnerability that allows other people to be vulnerable as well. This is really interesting. What distinguishes one group from the next, what makes a great group from just like a group that everybody just kind of shrugs their shoulders and kind of says, I'm kind of ready to be done meeting with these people, is the level of vulnerability amongst that group. It actually has little to do with the leaders and a lot more to do with the people who have signed up for the group, and are they going to lean in? Are they actually going to get involved with one another's lives? Are they going to share things that they maybe haven't shared with others before? Get vulnerable, sign up, show up, be consistent, be a part of the group, lean into those conversations, get involved in each other's lives. Owners serve 2 times each month. A lot of you, you've been a part of this church now for weeks, months, some of you years, and you still haven't jumped on a serve team. Today is your Sunday. Go to grumlaw.com/discover right now and sign up to get on a team. And once you sign up to get on a team, you make whoever does the scheduling for your position really, really easy because you're reliable and you show up on time. And you don't put 57 blackout dates throughout the year because you just like don't want to be there on a Sunday morning. You get there for huddle. You exude a contagious joy when you serve. You actually participate. I'm going to make sure I'm stepping on everybody's toes right now. You actually participate in the worship service at the other service time rather than becoming that jaded Christian who says, man, serving causes me to miss church. It's like, well, no, you cause yourself to miss church. You don't get to participate in the service because rather than going to one service and serving at the other, you just serve at one and then go home. So you participate in the life of this church. You make it your priority to be in the running for Volunteer of the Year. Yes, that is actually a thing here amongst this faith community. We give out an award at every year. At our annual volunteer Christmas party, one person from each campus gets crowned the Volunteer of the Year. It is a person every year who just continues week after week, day after day, to put their yes on the table for the local church. They serve the local church because, again, they are an owner of the local church. Owners regularly invite those in their sphere of influence into this faith community. You don't allow yourself to take the bait that, well, that's just the pastor's job. That's for people who work for the church. No, you ask those whom you do invite to, you take this a step further, you say, hey, why don't you come sit with me? You make it personal. You make sure that they understand that, like, hey, I'm a part of this faith community, and I desperately want you to be a part of it as well. Now those right there, we just ran through 4 of them. Those are kind of like the big 4. But now I'm going to go even more rapid fire through a handful more, and they honestly are just kind of all a spillover effect from those first 4, and again, they're in no particular order. Owners sit in the front of the room in order to leave seats in the back open for guests. Church, I know that those of us, because I'm among this crowd who sit up in the front, that we can be a bit intimidating. We tend to be a little bit noisier. We tend to get involved a little bit more in worship. I get that. But think about it. If you've been coming to this church for a while and you think it's intimidating to come sit in the front, how much more for the person who is new to this faith community and they walk in a couple minutes late only to find that the only open chunk of seats where they can sit together with their family is in the front row? Church, stop taking the dang ropes off. Stop fighting to be as far back in the shadows as possible. Come on up front with the owners. And I challenge you to treat the parking lot the exact same way. Don't fight for the space that is closest to the doors. No, you park in the back of the lot so that those who are new to this whole faith community, new to this whole church thing, get the front row spot. Owners contribute to an environment that is marked by contagious joy. That means that you cheer loud for the people on the stage. You talk back during the message. You engage. You laugh loud, hard, and often. You sing during worship. In other words, you validate the words that are spoken and sung from the stages on Sunday morning by your response. Church, super practically speaking, isn't it a little odd for someone who's just kind of beginning to figure out Jesus if I, for instance, get up here and speak with such passion and excitement, but then all of you respond in complete apathy? Don't we undermine who we're proclaiming Jesus to be if we don't respond in enthusiasm, in particular here during these Sunday morning services? So get loud, have fun with it. You have no idea the walls that you begin to break down when you engage with the service rather than just sitting back and listening, rather than just taking in for yourself. Owners treat an alone person in the church, this is one of the most important ones here, owners treat an alone person in the church as an emergency. You can grab lunch with your friends after church, but when you walk through the doors as an owner, you start scanning for those who look lost, confused, those who look reserved, and you initiate a conversation with those people. Honestly, this gets me all kinds of giddy. Can you imagine what would change in this church if all of the owners just started doing this? That it would literally be impossible for someone to walk away from Grumlaw on a Sunday morning and think, I just didn't feel seen. But by the way, that is the number one piece of negative feedback for every church in America. It's the reason that some people come back and others don't. Did they feel seen? It doesn't really have much to do with the preaching or the worship. It's like, no. Did I walk through those doors and was I anonymous there just like I am everywhere else in this world? Or did somebody actually come and engage me in a conversation? Did they try to learn my name? Introduce yourself to them and then introduce them to someone else. Church, and I'm going to be just very, very frank right now. It's what drives me nuts about those of you who show up 10 minutes late and then you leave the minute that you get dismissed. It's not that I'm worried that you're missing a part of the message or a part of the worship. It's that you treat this like a religious show rather than a faith family that you get to be a part of. When people say, and this is a common complaint about churches, when people say that the church is unfriendly and it feels like a big production, you are the problem. So practically speaking, owners arrive 10 minutes early and they stay for 10 minutes after service. And you specifically use that time to walk around the auditorium, to walk around the lobby and introduce yourself to those whom you do not know. You treat an alone person like an emergency. Owners, and this is the last one here, owners embrace this community as my church. A very common occurrence for me, as I'm talking with people who have been a part of this church for a pretty long time, is they'll say things to me like, Shay, I just love this blank thing, this thing about your church. I just love the children's ministry at your church. Or Shay, I don't seem to understand this about your church. I'm like, no. And I always correct people. I'm like, it's not my church. Like, it's your church too. It is our church. For owners, it's your church. It's my church. It's ours. Our faith community, our family. And when you begin to see it through that lens, you begin to take ownership. You don't dare, for instance, and just going to give us some examples, walk past that piece of trash in the parking lot. If someone spills their coffee, you don't assume that somebody else is going to clean it up. No, you begin to treat this place like you would your own home. Every single Sunday, I pick up so many coffee sleeves and mint wrappers in particular. And honestly, I'm just telling you this, I don't mind, but the thought has definitely crossed my mind. I'm like, how many other owners have already walked right past this stuff? Owners see a problem and they don't just report it, they think of how they can make it better and they contribute to the solution. And as an owner, because it's your church, You're here often. One of the challenges that I've been throwing out to this faith community here over the last couple of years is to pre-decide the number of Sundays that you are willing to miss in a given year. Because if you just leave it to chance, I'm telling you, you're going to end up being here a lot less often than you probably anticipated. Now, right now, I'm going to take the opportunity to brag on actually one of our staff members. Her name is Sue Seacrest. She serves as our executive director. If I'm just being honest, she's kind of the one that runs this place behind the scenes. And her position is typically one where you could pretty well lock yourself in an office and just get a lot of like this administrative work done here for this church. But it was just actually this last Sunday. We ended up having to tear down our grand blank space at the last minute. And what do you know? Sue was there to help tear it down. And then later on in the week, on Saturday evening, when we had to go back up to Grand Blanc and get some stuff ready so that we'd actually be ready for Sunday morning, you better believe that she was back up there helping us to set up. Then she was back the next morning at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday to make sure that the remaining setup took place. And as it would turn out, somebody very creatively decorated the men's bathroom with vomit the night before. And because there were no housekeepers available at that time of the day, who do you think it was that went into the men's bathroom and ended up cleaning up all of the dried vomit that was on the floor, on the walls, on the sink? Sue Seacrest. Then later on that day, we have had so many babies showing up to Grand Blanc, which is an incredible thing that we celebrate. But a lot of babies, you get a couple of them crying and it becomes overwhelming quick. So she also served in our nursery. None of that is a part of her job description, and not even close. She could have very well said, I'm not doing that, and nobody would have batted an eye. But that is what owners do. They see a need, and they meet the need. Why? Because it's my church. I'm not merely an attender. I am an owner. Now where is all of this leading? The early Christian church, we get a snapshot into what took place when a group of people collectively got over themselves, when they said, this is not about me, this is all about Jesus, and they decided not to merely attend, but own their role in the local church. I'm going to have us look here at Acts chapter 2, verses 42 through 47. It's titled, maybe in your scripture it says something different, but in the NLT it says, the believers form a community. It says, all the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all of the while praising God, enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day, every single day, the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. The early church, in other words, it was irresistible. In Grumlaw, we have an opportunity to be that church to this community. But it's not going to happen if just a handful jump on board with this. We need everyone. We need all of you. Owners who are wholly committed to Jesus' redemptive plan for the world. I cannot wait to see how God shows up and shows off this fall. Heavenly Father, we thank you that you are a good Father. We thank you that in a lot of ways you give us such clear marching orders. We apologize when we probably overcomplicate things and we're trying to think through all these strategies, and it really just comes down to loving you and loving people. And in fact, again, our love for you is best illustrated, authenticated, and demonstrated by how well we love the people around us. And I pray that, God, that for this faith community, we would be different. And not different in that we're a bunch of weirdos, but we're different because we so recklessly serve this community, because this church is made up of people who don't just attend, but people who really own their role, own their responsibility here on this earth to take your message to the ends of the earth. I'm excited, God, for how you're going to work, for how you're going to speak, for how you're speaking right now. I'm thankful. I'm praising you in advance for the steps of obedience that are going to be taken as a result of, again, how you have stirred in hearts here today. We love you. We thank you that we get to be a part in, again, your redemptive plan for the world. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Well, again, church, we are so glad that all of you decided to, again, join us here today. Next Sunday, we don't like market it as such, but it's kind of like our fall kickoff where everybody's kind of back in school at this point and like we're all come back as a big faith community. And so if you're watching right now and like you've been waiting for that perfect Sunday to come walking through our doors, I would want to tell you there's probably not a perfect Sunday, but we think next Sunday would definitely be a good one. And you can go to grumlaw.com/new and actually fill out your coffee order. We'll have it here waiting for you. It's just kind of a small way to say like, hey, we're really glad that you decided to walk through our doors either in Grand Blanc or in Heartland. Again, this service is not quite over, as we say just about every single week. Grumlaw Kids is right around the corner as well, where we have a song and a lesson specifically for your young ones. So you got 1 minute to round up your kids right now.
We are so happy that you decided to join us online today because we are kicking off a brand new series called Harmony. Together is better. And all month long, we are going to be hearing about friendship and how we can use our words and actions to show others that we care about them. And to stay up to date with everything we've got going on around here this month, be sure to follow us on social media at Grumlaw Kids. And if you're ready, let's stand up and worship our Creator.
A friend who is always there. Jesus, you are the one, 'cause you
All right, let me know when we're rolling, okay?
Yeah,
we are. Okay. All right, everybody, you ready for this? It's our latest hit song. 2, 3, 4. Hold on.
What?
Wait a minute, that's the wrong note.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just a little
problem.
nervous.
I know. We can edit that out.
Okay.
Kids today know all about editing.
Yeah, they do.
So here we go.
Got it.
You got it?
Got it.
You sure? Mm-hmm. All right. From the top. All right. Okay. All right, everybody. You ready for this? It's our latest hit song. 2, 3, 4.
Oh. No.
2, 3, 4. That's too high. 2, 3, 4. Too low.
Okay.
Okay, let's try it one more time. Oh, so and so show. I couldn't have done it better myself.
And then the smell got so bad, I was like, forget it. I'm not trying to rehydrate jerky. Oh! Hello! Welcome to the So-and-So Show. I'm John.
I'm Brandon. It's so great to be here with my oldest and dearest friend putting on a show for all of you.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Me? Oldest and dearest?
That's right.
Well, I mean, I get oldest, but dearest?
It's true.
Wow, that makes me feel special.
And what about me?
Oh. No, you feel fine.
No. I'm asking if I'm the oldest and dearest friend to you.
Oh, I don't know. That's a big question. I mean, friendship is a very serious thing for me.
Well, as it
I've
should
always
be,
believed that you should put some thought into who you're going to be friends with. You don't want to go around making friends all, willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
I mean, I've met so many people in my life. How am I supposed to decide who's merely an acquaintance and who gets to pass into my inner friendship circle?
Okay, what does your heart tell you?
Yeah, you're right. There's no way to know for sure.
Really?
What? Unless... Hello, everyone, and welcome to So You Want to Be John's Friend, the show where our contestants compete to see who has the qualities best suited for friendship for a guy like John. Up first in tonight's competition. He's a host of a long-running show seen by children all over the world. Born in a small town in the mid to late 1900s, this potential friend spends his time entertaining and educating. He likes to read books and watch movies, and he seems like a really nice guy. One would never know by looking at him how truly lonely he is. Whoa! What an interesting competitor. But does he have what it takes to be John's friend? Let's find out. Please welcome Brandon!
I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I've known you for like 20 years. I think I make a good friend because I'm loyal. I'm usually pretty generous. I share.
Boo! 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 This is terrible! You say you want to be John's friend, eh? But you're just talking. Where's your talent?
Oh, I didn't know this was a talent competition.
I didn't know this. Pshaw! John can't be friends with somebody and has no talent.
Okay, I didn't. So, what do you want me to
Sing
do?
a song.
Sing, but I'm not.
Sing. No,
I
make
haven't.
lyrics come out of your mouth.
I
Hold.
wasn't.
Let's move now.
There is a castle on a cloud.
Boom!
All right. You want a talented friend? You want a talented friend? I'll give you a talented friend.
Wow! That was quite a performance. Judges, what do you think?
That was very moving. I was touched. I hope that John picks you to be his friend. I truly do.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, John has made his decision. He will now choose a friend.
Brandon, we've known each other for a very long time,
Yeah,
and you are very dear to me.
thanks.
This celery stalk is for you. Will you be my friend?
Sure.
Yay, my friend!
It's Bible story time with Kellen.
Yay!
Are you gonna eat that?
Hey, fellas.
Alan, my friend. What's up, friend? I totally value your friendship.
Wow, thank you so much. Right back at you.
You got a story for us?
Oh, you know I do. Today's story is about the importance of, well, friendship. These verses come from the book of Ecclesiastes, which was written by a very wise teacher named Horvath.
That's my faces!
Well, speaking of friends, this is my friend Horvath.
That's right! I am Horvath. I am an expert in combining the mental trainings of learning the Bible with the physical trainings of making your muscles bigger. Huh?
Yep. Plus, good friends help each other out. So I'm so glad you're here to help me out.
Well, let's do this! Ah!
So, like I was saying, these verses are from the book of Ecclesiastes.
Huh?
Ecclesiastes.
Huh?
It's a book in the Bible. It's a word that means teacher.
Oh, Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, right. Well, here's what the teacher wrote about friendship. Two people are better than one. They can help each other in everything they do.
All right, first exercise!
Oh, okay.
Okay, I call this the two-person invisible chairs. You stand back to back with your best friends like this.
Right.
And then you sit down together in your invisible chair using your friend for support like this.
Oh, okay.
And we do this 109 times.
Well, that seems...
Go!
Oh, okay.
1, 27.
27.
Angel food cakes.
I like that.
Lawn green. 109. Yeah, that was great.
Whew.
You make me laugh.
Well, thank you. That helped prove the teacher's point, Horvath.
Yeah, I did.
Two people are better than one. You could not do that exercise by yourself.
No. 1.
No, here. You okay?
Yeah, let's do this.
Right.
Oh, right.
The verse continues. Suppose either of them falls down, then one can help the other one up. But suppose a person falls down and doesn't have anyone to help them up. Then feel sorry for that person.
Yeah.
It's good to have a friend around, and not when you just physically fall down. You can help others when you're struggling with schoolwork. They can listen when you've got problems you need to talk about. Friends can help carry each other through tough times.
Oh, all right. Next exercise. I call it the friend carry. So you grab your friend by the waist and lift him like this. Face that way.
Okay.
Okay, I grab your waist. Ready?
Oh.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Okay, we do this 499 times.
Wait, are you gonna...
Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 9. Small business loan. Cha-cha-cha-chia. Lederhosen! 499! Okay, your turn! Your turn! Let me!
I am so sorry, Horvath. You are too heavy for me.
I'm not heavy. I'm your brother.
You're my...
Let's do this!
Oh, okay. The next part of the verse. One person could be overpowered, but two people can stand up for themselves. A rope made out of 3 cords isn't easily broken.
No!
Well, that's another way friends can be there for one another. If you're being picked on or talked about behind your back, a friend can stand up for you. Some people think 3 cords in the verse represents you, your friend, and God. So when you have friends who trust God and follow Jesus, it can help you stand stronger.
I love it! Oh! Next exercise! Okay, it takes 2 to stand. Stand on 1 foot. Then choose a friend to stand on 1 foot. You!
Oh, okay.
Then put your arm around your friend and hop in a circle together like this. Here we go. Oh, yeah, very good.
Hey.
We do this 40 million times.
Wait, that's not possible.
Go!
Oh, okay.
1, 3.
3.
Max Headroom.
I remember that guy.
She's Danish.
We have to be close.
40 million.
There we go. A little dizzy. We did it, and I could not have done it without you, my friend.
I'm dizzy.
Hold on.
Okay.
There we go. So friends are important. That's why you should choose your friends carefully. Choose a friend that will be there for you, who will carry you through the tough times, and who will stand up for you. You can ask God to help you find a friend like that. And here's another tip. If you want to have a good friend, it's a good idea to be a good friend. Feeling better, Horvath?
Yes, thank you, Kellens.
No problem. I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye. Let me just grab my invisible chairs. Invisible chair.
I don't think...
Invisible. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Always lift on their knees. Oh, that's a heavy invisible chair.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kellen.
Brandon,
Yes, John?
you are my oldest and dearest friend.
Thank you for saying that.
This is for you.
Reveal the question. What makes someone a good friend?
Yeah, a friend will play video games with you, sometimes even if it's a game they don't like.
Also, a friend listens. They care about your day.
They put up with your silliness like this.
That's true.
Talk about it together. What makes someone a good friend?
We'll see you friends next time on the
So-and-so show. Hey!
Celery?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh! No, I'm my own dearest and oldest friend. I don't like celery.
Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Trying to forget my feelings of love. Teardrops running down my faces. Trying to forget. Oh, laser beams!